We wanted to get right back into each one of these games. Pentakill after that second one. Now, the third game, a pretty swift win as well. And now we'll see the picks and bans here for game 4.
And interesting thing here from Phoenix1, they did not ban the Shen first. They might be going with the idea of, hey, they can't pick them all. Maybe they'll be able to pick up something here if they leave open one of those power picks. The Malzahar to stop the creative jungle leash as well. I like that change. They saw that and they made sure that doesn't go through. Might be an Ivern.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ivern still can do those creative leashes without help, though. And we shall see if Phoenix1 actually decide that they're not willing to hand that one over again.
I think it's a pigeon again.
Yep. He's creating a ruckus. All right, final ban here for Phoenix1. They are actually taking quite a good amount of time here to say, this is going to be our trade. What will it be?
I would assume it's Ivern.
Yeah.
But now Lulu on the table. Kha'Zix is something you want to first pick to have a good jungler, but Shen left up, and I definitely think you go with the first pick there of the Kha'Zix because the jungle was pinched so much.
Shen and Lulu, incredibly high values for both of those. Rumble is good, a good answer into Shen though as well. Very curious to see which direction Phoenix1 are going to try and go, because Shen is so often banned against FlyQuest. Balls gets to play on the tank, plus join and help Moon and High out with their assassin early skirmish play that they like to go for.
Yeah, if you pick Shen as Phoenix1, then you're in a really good position because you'll most likely be playing into a tank for balls, and you'll be able to bully him and have the 1-3-1 come online for yourself if you run that type of composition here. I think they go with Shen in this slot. They passed up the Lulu because they want to have something for an equalizer. Unless
they're not finished passing up the Lulu, they could go just double down on those shield to AD carry comps and grab both of them right now, have Ryu play at mid. We haven't seen that, and that would be an extreme answer, but it's a possibility.
I know Moon's going to want his jungler, so there's the Shen for Zig. Cross-map plays can be had, and shield on shield if it wasn't Lulu.
Exactly, and I think this is great because they picked the Karma instead of the Lulu so that they have something that's an equalizer buffer if they do lock in Rumble. Also now, the other counter to the top lane Shen would kind of be the Gangplank, but then it's like Balls is not on a tank. They don't have the same type of protection for the squishy Kha'Zix and also High in the mid lane.
Yeah, I am really a fan of stealing away the Shen from FlyQuest, as not only does it remove it from enabling their assassin plays, but it allows you to react quickly to FlyQuest, mid-game calls that they're making where they try and catch teams off guard.
Yeah, I really like the adaptation here where it's like, why are we banning this? This is a contested pick, and they're going to take the jungle. I think it's a really good call there from Phoenix1 to change it up.
That being said, Balls was a monster on Nautilus last game. Pulled that endgame skirmish out into 3 versus 5. Completely clutches it for the team, being an amazing front line for Altec and allowing FlyQuest to set themselves up into the position they are now.
Yeah, when you're in a position and you have multiple resistance stacked and they don't have any penetration on their team, you're in a very good spot here. But this is going to be really interesting. Seeing Inori on the Elise here is something that Meteos had actually picked up a whole bunch and played. And it was Meteos' most played in the jungle, whereas Inori has played 3 games of it, and he's only won 1 of it so far this split.
Right at the end there, it seems like Ryu has been feeling more effective on ADs in the mid lane, so he may be able to get that back into his hands for this one.
Good point.
As we head into the second ban phase, Orianna out from High. We may see just the Syndras on the other side and the like bans for them.
Yeah, it is interesting because Phoenix1 will get that first pick on the second round, so they could pick away the Talon if they then wanted to, kind of adopt that style. And a Talon Elise with a Shen at their back has a lot of snowball potential for that early phase.
Yeah, a lot of pick, a lot of potential. Doesn't look like it's in the works for them though. And I assume they might go with AD carry and then try to counter pick mid. But I want to see what happens with Inori's Elise here, because a lot of Elises who aren't in that same kind of aggressive territory as Meteos is on his will build defensive, whereas Meteos was always Sork Boots, let's get a haunting, let's make sure that we have penetration, and it's an AP threat, whereas this may not be the same type of AP threat.
Or if you're super into the snowballing, the mobility boots Elise to just allow you to get out a higher quantity of those ganks could be a possibility. That all comes down to the confidence of the jungler, because mobility boots Elise also does have the drawbacks of if you're failed to snowball, then you fail miraculously.
The drawback of being a mobility boots Elise is that you're a mobility boots Elise, and if you get caught, you're probably dead.
All right, so it's actually going to be the Syndra lock-in for Ryu. He'll feel comfortable doing that. Look at him, he's like, team,
He's joined the squad.
This is what we need to do.
Showing solidarity when they need it most.
Side too. What is going on?
We did not train that pigeon, by the way. That is his own free will.
They call it a carrier pigeon.
Oh.
Damn it, Freak.
Oh, Freak is laughing.
Actually, I heard that he sent an email out to all of the North American LCS teams, and Phoenix1 was the only team that answered him.
Ooh, there you go.
Kog'Maw, though, makes the resurgence here with the Lulu for FlyQuest. And again, they have a front line to work around as well. Huge 5v5 potential here for FlyQuest, whereas Phoenix1, with that roaming jungler early, a lot of early potential from the Elise, and can chain into Shen moves.
And this right here is why I didn't think they would actually pick their mid laner that early.
Right.
Because if you pick Syndra, Ekko is so good into it, you'll bring teleport. Also, Fizz is another counter pick, and it'll also bring teleport. So a 1-3-1 composition would be online. And this can match Shen. If you go up against him with the Nautilus, as soon as he burns Stand United, okay, next time, it's your mid laner up against the Shen top, and then you have to get his second.
The thing is, I feel like we've been spoiled by Jensen's Ekko. Not many Ekkos have impressed me the same way. Okay. And Hai has not played Ekko this season, this split. So we shall see if he can have the same sort of execution. It is definitely into the Syndra. Good matchup there.
Yep.
But everybody's cheering for Arrow on the Twitch now.
Got the sewer skewers on the side of Phoenix1 for this one.
And this is definitely a champion that can run away with the game. But now, you look at that bottom lane, this is Clash of the Hyper Carries. We're looking for who gets that early advantage, who bullies the other one out, which support is more on their game. And I definitely think that this is, we talked about volatile lanes for mid lane last time. This is a volatile bottom lane here. If you start getting an advantage on one of these guys, they can show up all around the map, start knocking down turrets, especially that Twitch can go for those clever mid-game ganks.
We're going to be locking in now to Game 4 momentum to FlyQuest. A 2-1 score so far in this best of 5 for the third place matchup, and they have been making a great case for themselves to continue with a third win here.
And another thing that we have to keep in mind for this composition that that P1 have, Shen Twitch, throwback for the submarine here. You really have to watch out for this team in the mid game.
Yeah, you don't really want your Twitch super close to danger a lot of the time, but if you can find someone isolated, then you can go for those pickoffs as well. It does add extra threat to the assassination side of Twitch, which is definitely a unique element to that as far as AD carry role goes.
Hashtag FlyWin, hashtag P1 win as we get into Game 4. Match point for FlyQuest. And we are about to be on to the Rift, a double teleport composition coming in for FlyQuest as they look to make their way around the map. On this one, we'll see if P1 can shut them down here. A different composition once again for on the Rift for them.
Mixing things up stylistically every game.
Ooh, the 3-bead.
Oh, yeah.
One of those goes into a Tiamat for wave control for the Shen.
Where the rest go.
Back to this keeper.
Might use one for like a crystalline bracer in the future at some point.
Sell off the used beads.
I feel like that's like my ARAM build. Just one health. But it helps. Zig's going to be able to be happy in that top lane and stay quite healthy against balls as he just pushes lane back and forth.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to note as well, is that the Nautilus definitely has push priority in the beginning of the game. Will be able to shove you out, buys 2 to 3 Doran's rings depending on how pushy you're feeling, and then you can go and roam. And that's why Nautilus is actually such a high priority champion, is he will win most tank matchups in the quote-unquote win means to push lane faster, which means you get to roam more and be more active on the map.
Second thing I'm looking at here is how much of a good start can the junglers get off to? Really been highlighted, especially this series, how much of a team objective jungling is, especially early on. And Inori may be shaken, his confidence may be shaken after the last couple of games that they've had. Elise is definitely a champion that you have to have that forward-thinking playstyle where looking to go aggressive early.
And this is actually something that's going to be really interesting for the start here. So FlyQuest, they've started Moon on the top side of the map. You can infer that as Phoenix1 because you didn't see Ekko leash and you saw the bottom lane the whole time. Right. So you can kind of guess that he's up on this top side, but that's still different and harder to track.
Exactly. You can try and make that guess, yet you're feeling so insecure about it because of the tendencies of pro junglers right now. Like Kha'Zix especially, so often will be assumed to start on the Raptor camp. I wonder if it'll actually come of anything though, as far as, meeting up for the Scuttle Crab super early or going for any invade. maybe it's something as small as going for one of these bottom lane wards and vision coverage for this bottom side of the map.
Exactly. It could even be just a little scarring thing where it's like, all right, hold on. He could be here at this time when he's still just clearing his jungle out. I expect to see an early ward from Ryu on maybe his bottom right side here to keep himself safe.
That being said, one of the things I love to do most is have a lane just look like they're mindlessly pushing, slip into these side brush that you see in the lane, which are almost never warded before people actually get sight stones and stuff like that. He's opted to go for the blast cone instead, and he's prepped a ward here to try and catch Inori going for that gank on the bottom lane, but Inori's going top.
Going towards mid here. I actually don't think Moon saw the scuttle crab there. And look at that, Inori gonna look for the flash.
Oh, got it right before the minions. This should be a kill, and the burn is there. The last hit. Both of those flashes in mid. And Hai can teleport back to soak up these minions.
Super sick. Gets his cocoon out right before the minion gets in line there.
That was
almost no hesitation for Phoenix1. And it does pay off this time around. So much effort from Moon to really counter this bottom. Like we talked about, they were mindlessly pushing, quote unquote, and were the juiciest target, but really good adaptation there from Inori.
And I gotta say, for Inori, that's a bounce back play right there. If you screw that up again, that's one of those plays that you don't really recover from.
Moon's in shock. He's been sitting here on the slash cone the entire time.
It's like, when are they going to push? Like I talked about snowballing a lane. You really want to snowball that one.
He put it between the two minions.
Well, one of them actually dies from Ryu actually throwing the W down. I'd have to look at it again. But look at that. That's a forced play. That's super forced. Moon tries to flash for that.
He does get the flash out of the AD carry in exchange. But yes, Inori definitely will be very happy about this early start to this game. Let's see if he's able to continue.
And he's even gone for the challenging smite here on the Elise. No more vision control, saying, I'm not going to be the guy who's just going to set up all this vision. I'm going to fight you for the vision and get it from there. So he's trying to go for a little bit of an advantage. Has been spotted here.
Well, the one thing that worked for him was that Ivern game the first time. Very supportive, and his aggressive games of the past two weren't really in his favor. So now he has to start early and use that aggression that he likes to play with.
Yeah, even though FlyQuest saw him very early, you know, on this ward behind the wall of mid, they don't have the health on Moon to really go seek him out. So Hai just has to play up to the top side, and he knows that very recently.
Sun. Got him on the tip of it.
Long range, volatile spider damage. Remember that flash is gone. Parallel convergence going to lock up Inori if he doesn't get out. Times it perfectly, and do they? He keeps it in range. The bamboozle, he was looking for Inori to come down, and Ryu takes it.
Oh my goodness! Just as the shield falls off there, Ryu gets the Q and kill onto Hai.
Bit of damage on the boss side. Good help picks as well. Follow up. Lemonnation not in range, so he gives him the assistance. They are able to get a good bit of damage traded back as Arrow uses his abilities. Looks like they even out on this one. CS 41 to 39, so both still waiting to back. Let's see this again in the mid lane.
That's just the tip again, and there's a minion right there underneath him, so that is another cocoon. That could have gone astray, but this, you never see the shield drop.
There's no way a level 3 Q did over 200 damage, though.
You know, fighting game term of frame perfect, kind of frame perfect there, because you couldn't see that happening with the health and the shield going down first.
I thought you were going to say bops.
No. different terms, but yeah.
2-0-6 on the clock right now as P1 start things off in their favor. It went very well last time when this happened, and it was between Inori and Ryu and Zig to start off that game number 1 of the series.
And we talk about how FlyQuest have been getting ahead from Hai and Moon. Moon took a gamble for the bottom side of the map, one that you want to snowball, but then at the same time, Inori got that mid play, and that flash cocoon, I've said it before, that's a play that you have to go for. I definitely admire the fact he went for it, because if you mess up a body slam flash top on Gragas, if you messed up a Graves double kill in the bottom lane and earlier in playoffs, like, people make highlight clips of this. He's saying, screw that, I don't care, I'm gonna go for it again, and that's a play that easily could have backfired, but he wasn't paralyzed by it.
Well, your question is answered of can he break that mindset, and he has. See if he can keep doing it. It's still just on the other side of that missed engage, right? There's still that chance for it to fall right back in, but so far so good. And it looks like they're actually going to keep the power towards Ryu in the mid lane. If he falls behind, we've seen what happens to a Syndra in this series.
You see Shady actually hanging around here by mid.
Yeah, very clear game plan this game around for Phoenix1. Camping for Ryu, really trying to play around that melee into range matchup. Syndra now is the level 6, has gotten the early kills and a lot of extra power. It kind of makes me even wonder, did the extra ring even give him enough power to get through the entire shield? Regardless though, he's very well set up now, and everyone has to respect that level 6 ultimate. I'd be very, very curious if Moon actually even tried to go try and right things around mid lane, because not only would you have to worry about checking into an Elise cocoon inside a brush, but even just the ultimate thrown from the side there from the mid laner would be devastating.
You also have to watch out for, if you go for a proactive play, Shen is going to be right there with the shield.
The level 7 already there, 6 just a bit ago, but they're waiting on it. Could actually be something here. The lane is equaled out on the top side, but he's still got to be careful for balls. Both of these guys can shut down teleports immediately from the top side of the map.
Phoenix1 definitely still have a huge lead here, and a lot of the options for proactive plays are definitely theirs. Zig, you can see, doesn't have his teleport, while balls technically could answer, but it comes in much slower. You have to wait for that full teleport channel time, and the extra shield would definitely be very welcome.
67 to 49, the result of what has happened in mid lane so far. Looks like Inori is still waiting, high playing towards the bottom side, has vision top, and actually uses himself as a bit of a sentry to make sure Inori's not on this side. Very calmly played.
All this vision for FlyQuest on the top side. High should be permanently hugging that side of the map, and the bottom has to be very careful.
Lemonnation low, Ignite got onto him.
What? They're going to go for a
Ryu's
heavy
coming.
dive.
Oh yeah, there's Inori, and Ryu already on the backside. They had High pushed in, but he's already pushed to his turret. This dive is happening, and the dives, the death. Altec and Lemonnation go down. 4 kills now for P1 as they're finding the fights to get through this game.
Phoenix1 looking to just pry this game wide open here in the early game. Snowball super hard. They transition over to the Dragon. We'll check on that first turret race as well after this, but currently they are taking that Ocean Drake. And here comes the Shen ultimate, as we said. They had already allocated every single other member.
Ooh, Altec actually flashed the taunt flash there to go to the other side. Update on the first turret. Went over to FlyQuest, P1 no answer. They got the Ocean Drake, still up 1,000 gold, but they didn't get that turret.
Yeah, interesting choice there, because they could have definitely just stayed around that bottom turret and tried to power that one down, probably beat them to that race, but FlyQuest did get something back for themselves during the replay, so not completely down and out yet, even though Phoenix1 are pushing ahead full steam.
Yeah, this bottom lane though, that could be a situation, like, I'm hearkening back to the days of Season 2 where you get kills, and then somebody shows up in your lane, you're like, don't kill the turret, don't kill the turret. There's no summoner spells for the bottom lane here of FlyQuest, and they have both flashes on the side of P1. If they're playing for kills, then you do leave that turret up and try to go for something like that, a return game.
It's very interesting. People usually kind of go with the book and say, well, take this down, go top, take it down, go mid, take it down, or however that works consecutively after the first turret, but we have not seen this very often.
Now they do know that Moon is on the top side there as well with the control ward, so Inori is free to create any sort of play he wants on this bottom side of the map. Goes in here for a little bit of deep warding.
Once again up to his turret, actually building the Merc Treads first, so with the seal and ability power, having a little trouble clearing waves as much as he'd like to towards that back line, and then keeping Ryu at his turret just as much.
Tiamat completed for Zig in the top lane, so he'll be able to shove waves out decently quick. Whereas right now, you can see Party in the bottom side of the map. Elise hanging out there. Ryu also going to have control of this area because of the control ward. So yeah, they're going to just basically try to camp 4 people here. Look for a dive whenever it presents itself. It'd be one of the most obvious dives you can ever see coming.
Especially with balls continuing to push the lane and heading down through the river there. They do have to respect the Nautilus as well.
Nice little poke from Shady on the bot side, but not enough room to get the turret to go down. They also have a bit of vision on Moon earlier, so they aren't aware of where he might try to re-engage. Inori goes for the flash. They want this. They're pulling the trigger as soon as they can, and they'll take the 3v3.
Whoa, Shady's down!
Coming down, they're going to be able to get the kill onto Shady. There goes Lemonnation. Both of the supports are out. It's all the positioning you can get now. Altec falls. The Spider's going to take him down, but Inori uses the Q. He gets another one for himself in the triple kill. He flashed forward to initiate this for the team, and a hashtag worth now for P1.
Oh, they
as they go for more members. Chrono break back. Highs under the turret along with balls, and they have to be careful. The crowd control from the Nautilus gets a little scary, and there is not a lot of HP for P1. It's not going to be phased. They're not going to be phased by it, though, as they go for the kills. Tank onto Zig. Arrow gets hit. Arrow gets down. Fly high, going high as well, and he almost gets another kill for himself as he takes down Arrow. But like you said, this is going to take a long time, and P1 still make it work.
Playing for kills.
They should be able to get this turret, though, so in the end, they also get the objective, and that was with FlyQuest at the ready. Both teleports immediately used to try and react to this. Phoenix1 still brute force get that one.
Yeah.
Inori, just no hesitation, went super deep there.
Oh man, he's like, he has no way to flash this. He was spotted on the Scuttle Crab ward that was placed by FlyQuest, so you don't see the flash coming, but you saw him right before this, and so Lemon, internally in his head, had a different timer of where the Elise was.
Yeah, you do reveal yourself when you're killing off those wards, and it looked like Moon had a very good counter here, but Inori just takes them both down under the turret. Look at that, kills Altec while he casually lands the cocoon to the side onto Moon. And that allows Phoenix1 to get the rest of them.
My favorite part of that play is where the Volatile Spiderling's going after Altec, and it's not, you know, he dies from the auto, but then when you transform into Elise and you Q something, the Volatile Spiderling just flies at their face.
Here now!
Had a face hugger, and it was great. So that was got him the triple. But yeah, it looked like Moon was very close to cleaning that up, but then that's that situation where the Twitch flashes away from you, the Karma flashes away from you, you have to flash to follow the Karma. You're like, what, they have sums? You guys died bottom, they still had sums? Oh, Phoenix1, it was kind of a long con. Don't know if it's exactly what they were going for, but they definitely had the right punish there for not taking the turret. It was pretty interesting.
Also, our questions around Inori snowballing with this Elise seem to have been answered here. He is definitely going with the Sork boots and fully offensive build here.
Yep, Proto Belt might be the next item off that Kindle gem.
This is Inori's Elise with Hecarim mentality. Basically, how you fold those two together. Do not stop, keep going forward. And he is only getting bigger. 4, 1, and 3. Great participation in the 9 kills that have happened, and he's also helped Ryu be a part of that, very much so, with 6 of his own participations. 3K gold lead here for P1. They have a top turret and a bottom turret to still work, but are putting quite a bit of pressure mid.
And you gotta watch for the cocoon, and you gotta watch for that poke. High cut.
A lot of ultimates used defensively here for FlyQuest. They are taking a beating from the range advantage push here of Phoenix1.
All right, what's gonna happen bot lane? Altec actually has an item advantage here with the completed Blade of the Ruined King, but there's more members of P1 in the area.
Yeah, they do have the Shen Stand United that they could bring an extra member here. Or you could go for the very manly 1v1 AD carry. I'd be very careful about going against Kog'Maw with that, though.
Yeah.
Yep, the Acathian surprise if you take a few turret shots.
Even if you win, you lose.
He's getting the attack speed from going stealth. He had submarine!
But Lemonnation
We're going golden, boys! Get out the fishing pole, they get the angler down. Zig gets hit. Skin appropriate for the kill. 10-3 as they go for the second tier turret. And Arrow, ooh, very, very close to taking too many shots. They're gonna have to peel back.
Yeah, Twitch being a frontliner there, just walks straight up, gets the ultimate from the Shen, and I think P1, harkening back to champions, like good adaptation to leave something up so they either get a good jungler or they get the Shen for themselves. And they came out a little bit on top with the way they've been performing right now.
ADC Kog put to the depths.
He has no idea.
Still inside the bush.
And all of a sudden,
Yeah, Zig shows up on the edge of the model there.
See, people complain about Shen being a tanky ninja, but that's actually the most ninja thing you could ever do. Literally not there until that last second. Pops out of a bush. Looked like he just spawns there, too.
Oh, Titanic for him. Spectre's Cowl, so he can deal with a little bit of the magic resistance coming in from high and the rest of the team. And the cross-map plays have actually worked out for P1 more than the double teleport of FlyQuest.
Yeah, really loving the pace of this series. Neither team giving up after even very convincing wins from the other side. Phoenix1 comes right back out to try and push this one to that game 5 and making a very good case for themselves. Want to keep up the pace here, but what a snowballing job they have done. Only problem is that The Drakes have not really gone their way with 3 Oceans. Aren't exactly the best snowballing Drakes, but they'll still control them, and they will definitely want to pick up the 3rd.
Well, at least when you get the 3rd one out of the way, there'll be no more Oceans, right?
Yeah, true.
You just got to get through them.
Incredibly effective, too.
And you'll be alive mostly for the whole time because of them. 4K gold lead, uncontested outer turrets as Fly plays these a bit smarter, knowing it'd be too much to try and take those sieges. But that just shows how much P1 is controlling this early part of the game. We talked a little bit about that mentality. Could they come back from 2 very fast wins by FlyQuest? Very methodical wins. And it seems like P1 knew they just had to play their game. They were getting in their own heads.
Yeah. Heard some people groaning at that missed cocoon on a scuttle crab. He's hit enough cocoons this game. It's worth it. He gets a pass on that one.
His mispile is
The day I see a flash cocoon onto a scuttle crab.
That's when you get so frustrated. You missed like 2 on it. It's like, finally. You missed that one, though.
All right, honestly, though, FlyQuest are struggling in a similar situation that Phoenix1 had found themselves in previously in this series. You try and carve out your little area of Fog of War to create a play with. And hope that you can get a good flank here. You know, Ekko stun can be devastating. It's just so hard to set up.
And against the Syndra as well, who can knock you away. And we talk about how Ekko is the counter to Syndra. That's if you can get on top of her, weave in and out, kind of make it so with dice down. But look at this. High, trying to go for the wave clear. Not actually going to clear it completely.
He's going to draw the team up. Chrono break back. Good damage onto Inori. Knew he could kind of just ring around the rosy with P1. If he used his ultimate there, so a great protection on the turret.
That's a TP as well from Balls. That's the global down. They have high with the teleport now, but the bottom side, Zig actually rushed Titanic Hydra fully so that he has so much wave clear. He'll push these waves up, and you have to answer him because he does do a decent amount of damage to turrets now.
Yeah, I really like that play from Phoenix1. That's where you tentatively draw out a couple of the key cooldowns without fully committing. The trap snaps shut, but they do not get caught under the turret. And now they do have 1 less teleport to worry about.
Yeah, and now you get to use Twitch to kind of push up in the lane. There's a possibility that he gets a global on him. But look at everybody else sitting down here inside this bush to the bottom right.
There's 1 ward that could allow them to know more members of FlyQuest
and now they flank
coming.
Balls.
Also highest teleport,
they
though.
know
He
he's
can join him.
Oh, they see that. And I think they say, no, sir. Spike slowed down all 3 of the team members. Ultimate Stand United comes in. Zig is looking for a member. High gets hit first. Ooh, belt against the wall. Didn't get any damage out of that, but Arrow still goes down in the end. They're looking for Lemonnation. The Cathian Surprise may not reach with the damage. And 3 members falling quick of FlyQuest as P1 lose Arrow and are able to take the rest.
Yep.
Bit of a disorganized collapse right now, and FlyQuest have to go full retreat.
His top turret had the wave pushed in, and now Baron time for P1.
20 minutes in, and they get a victory topside. Huge margins here for Phoenix1. This is going to be a tremendous game for them. There's still plenty of turrets for them to knock down if they secure this.
Balls blocking up. They're actually going to full disengage.
Scattered. Balls is going to go down here. Moon knows he can't do too much. And it looks like they lose another member. FlyQuest is just dropping left and right, and they don't have time to make a move on the map.
Yeah, we talked about tanks. Sometimes, you know, 2v1, and then they die. It doesn't matter. They'll buy time. That's exactly what Balls did there. If he's able to just give his life up in exchange for the Baron not going down, definitely work.
Here you can see the rotation, though, as FlyQuest knew that they were a little bit off guard with this one. A couple more members of P1 than they actually accounted for. And even though the bottom lane, Altec and Lemon came up the river to arrive first, right behind them is Ryu. The Fed, Syndra, it just annihilates Altec at the very beginning. And Phoenix1 get out with just 1 death. FlyQuest were able to stop that Baron, but quite a few casualties.
Yeah, when you have a Protect the Kog'Maw composition, it's not a full one, but we're talking about at least the Kog'Maw in the composition. You want to have those tank lines in front, you want to have that front-to-back team fight, and you really have to be conscious of those flanks, because if you have somebody who's separating your team, that's really where the composition falters.
Yeah, and we see FlyQuest kind of going into Phoenix1's tempo right now. You know, Phoenix1 have done such a good job of proactive move after proactive move. You know, Inori leading the way with these flash cocoons and Zig constant Stand United. That FlyQuest feel like they have to catch up in this game and going for more risky plays where they're not quite as organized and they haven't set up their battle lines we're talking about.
And when you catch Balls out up top, sitting in the top brush, then everybody has to collapse. You definitely have a big split there. Able to hold their own. This 3rd Ocean Drake will be coming up, though, as those waves are getting pushed out. And you can see Ryu deciding if he wants to roam down or not from the top side to at least be around.
This will get taken down quite fast. Give items over 900, about 1,000 gold, just about each inventory of P1 right now, so they have a chance to go back and possibly complete items. Their time on the map shows them, though, they have some room to play with, so they will stay, push these waves up.
Yeah, they also have a lot of gold to play with. 3,000 gold advantage for Ryu, and then it's a 2,000 gold advantage for Inori in the jungle. They're definitely doing work here off of those early leads.
Need that time to back. We'll have to see what P1's next move is just out of the base. Looks like Shady and Arrow are going to hold down the mid lane to keep eyes on FlyQuest.
Arrow looking for a flank, Stand United ready.
The rest of the team's in the base. They do have Zig. They're just going to call for the Stand United as they go for a fight very fast. But again, FlyQuest can't even have time in their own jungle.
Yeah, a couple of chunks out of the health bars there, as well as some of the vision taken down. And FlyQuest starting to get a little antsy around this Baron.
I actually feel like that wasn't that great from Phoenix1. They blew Twitch ultimate and Shen ultimate, and they didn't get a summoner spell at all.
Big flank there from Ryu, misses the stun.
Cocoon hits on the back.
Lemonnation.
Super low. The Titanic's riding through him right now, and he's going to die to Zig. Actually, Arrow with the shot from the ultimate. Had the range, got the kill, and it is secured now. That's just the support. Wild Growth was used, so they saw the effect in that fight. It's not a Baron attempt now, but P1 continues to get small advantages everywhere on the map.
Could get a big one pretty soon here as well. They actually secure a kill, and teleport's still available for Zig. Even though he did use Stand United, he can still get there if necessary. Plenty of vision control as well. And Phoenix1 do get Scrying Orb to see them out.
Yeah, this is interesting because they don't have their tank there. Moon gonna get burst.
Very close to flash forward. Arrow picks up another one. He's going to go head-to-head now versus Altec. That's the damage, and the kill comes through with a bit of his team.
Oh, Cathy?
Fly high, going down, pulls the chrono break, Repel comes in. Inori was holding it, and now he's going to try to call his bluff in the fight. The 1v1, High gets the time winder back, and he rewinds it for Inori. We're going to see the next fight here. It's going to be the Q to the face. Tries to get Shady in the parallel convergence, but again, a 1 for 3. This is becoming a common thing for FlyQuest.
Yeah, High walks into the bush there. There is already a ward in it though, so Shady just shoots him in the face. And now Phoenix1 again, still returning to the Baron. They keep on killing more and more members of FlyQuest. Each time they peel off, and they're peeling off one more time.
And Arrow actually almost went down via Caffeine Surprise. He cloaked, and then he also got a shield for Shady right before it went off, and he lived with a sliver of HP.
They're going back with 4 control wards, well, more than 4 control wards, 4 slots filled with control wards for their team, though. Very clear here for Phoenix1 to return to the scene of the crime until they actually come away with the prize. Approaching a 10,000 gold lead, though. Very close there for Phoenix1. And the amount of combat effectiveness that they have been able to purchase is definitely troublesome here for FlyQuest as they continue to just look for some sort of pick, some sort of surprise move.
Yeah, and right now, Shady actually has 3 control wards in his inventory. Typically, you'll see 2 purchased by people, but this just shows, like you were talking about, Kobe, they are so dedicated to getting this damn Baron, or getting picks around it, to force FlyQuest to face check them. It feels like this is where they're saying, this is the moment, this is the next few minutes where we have to do this.
I mean, that's the fight, right? That's what we've seen the entire time. FlyQuest around the fights. P1 trying to make them. Now that they have a lead, they can make it at Baron. FlyQuest isn't going to take it at a turret, but they have to go to that Baron. They have to jockey for position. So P1 knows how to get FlyQuest in those fights.
Yeah, Zig has made it all the way to the turret, so somebody's going to... They're actually just sacrificing this outer turret in order to stay closer to Baron. And Phoenix1 will take the small win here rather than risking much to go for the big one.
I mean, he's still going to push, though. I don't see anybody pulling off of this right now. He'll push until they get engaged. You can see P1 backing up a little bit as they've let Zig fill in that empty space bottom, possibly flank, but setting up to make sure he's okay.
The onus is on FlyQuest to actually create some sort of action here. Phoenix1 just slowly gaining and gaining those small advantages. They finally opted to send High down instead to answer this. Split push here from Zig.
Yeah, Shen 2 levels up, has decent amount of magic resistance. It will be very difficult for High to get through.
kind of just tickling him right now. Needs a bit of crowd control and the rest of the
Arrow
team.
keeps cloaking and running through mid. He's looking for, is playing, he's trying to get in there.
Gets the blade onto balls. There's the teleport rather, Stand United into the taunt, but they are not going to be able to finalize the kill on the tank. But doing that much damage in that short of time does not spell good things for FlyQuest in a long fight. P1 again looking for another engage.
Oh, they've pushed into that negative space.
Flashing it. Altec has to stay on the backside. No mana for him right now. And it's going to be hard for the team to get any damage done if they aren't right up to the fight. Zig may want to take that and just taunt through the rest of the team. Moon's going to get hit up by Arrow, but he has to go and choose correctly to head away with the depth charge on him. It does not look like they're getting the fight they want, but they are absorbing the ults they need.
And they've also bullied them out of this mid lane so they can push up the minions and try and get some damage onto the turret. They're still zoning FlyQuest off here as High returns to base to heal up. They actually get in just in time and teleport
TP
back
flank.
out.
It's not deep enough.
Zig's like, I'll take it out. Oh, wait, you can't. Looking for High now. He can chrono break back and confuse the team, just really throw him for a loop.
Oh, taunted up.
There we go. Parallel convergence gonna lock up the team. He gets a chrono break back onto 2. Shady and Arrow. Arrow very low, but they take High down immediately. The team's not able to follow him into these engages, and that's the teleport down for a play that could have been made here in the next few minutes.
That's definitely going to be a key to a move over there. They can pick up the Infernal Drake and then swing into their vision coverage that they've had consistently. They know that even though there's 27 seconds left on the death timer for High, he also doesn't have his teleport. Whoa! Doesn't have his teleport to get there quickly.
That was quick. Probably tasted like purple. The Lemonnation goes down quick.
Balls as well. They haven't been able to keep wards up on their flanks. Oh, they get burnt.
Altec and Arrow once again meet face to face. The double kill coming up for Arrow with the sewer skewers, and they're going to head down now to the mid turret. Moon, the top side of the map, and she's trying to shift these waves so they have some time to breathe, but P1 is not letting it happen.
Yeah, Moon was in a position to contest a possible Baron,
Right.
and then they all ran down away from where Moon was, straight towards the mid lane and got picks on the way.
They just turned Baron area into a meat grinder. One member from FlyQuest has been dead for the last 10 minutes.
Give me the batting order. Let's go.
It's so true. B1 just camping on their vision control and kill after kill after kill for themselves.
It has been a very kill-oriented game for Phoenix1, even going back to the first few that they got underneath the turret, where they baited them. You see here, Lemonnation kind of has to do that, whereas Moon on the top side has the blast cone over, was thinking maybe they'll do the Baron, but FlyQuest completely on different pages. But they're trying to cover options, and P1 just took the one where you go for the fight, you just eviscerate the team.
They actually just want to keep Baron there. As long as it's great bait.
Yeah, it's just like the turret. Don't take it, use it for bait if you're ahead, if you have so much spell advantage. It's so strange. It's an old tactic.
Inhibitor down now, though, just adds so much more pressure.
Oh, Shady face checking.
Whoa, that sweeper being on just saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, they also didn't really have any damage dealers there. You had Kog'Maw below that. You had High off to the left. High is really that AP threat you have to worry about. You saw how much damage he did to Arrow even when you get shields.
Again, think back to the change in plans for how Phoenix1 got here in this game, in this series. They made the adjustment here. Inori just, something snapped. He went full aggressive this game, camping mid lane, flashes in for Ryu, and now he's got a 7-0 Syndra on his hands, fully fed, and makes it so dangerous for anyone to face check. You either get a cocoon or Syndra stun, and if you're walking around in lane, Arrow's able to jump on you. Here goes Baron, attempt number 45. As FlyQuest move in to stop it.
They don't even want to do it. It's just the bait, like you said.
Moon flows, hops out. And again, quite safe. High gets actually knocked down from his blast cone.
Moon
is
Ellie
in trouble.
out of the air. He's going to get taken down, and that becomes a
That's a smite down, though.
non-50-50 contest.
Exactly. That's where you're going the smites down. Maybe this isn't so much of a bait anymore. Maybe this is a real Baron.
Where as well, you absorb those ultimates, draw them out if you have to, while you jockey for Baron. The fight goes towards the top side. Redemption comes in.
Bait again.
And now they're on to Ryu. Looks like the focus is going to stay there. Shady comes in to give the shields, and now they can turn it around. Lemmonnation's going to fall. Arrow is actually in the middle in the fight, and he can get to the front for another double kill.
He's got flash.
Two fights in a row. Altec in his face. He's going to slow him down with the cast. A third kill coming through. Now the triple. 5 in the last few minutes here for Arrow as they keep going, now possibly for the Nexus.
Baron gets to live! And they're going to go end the game instead, and never had to actually take the objective.
Absolutely amazing game by P1. Taken back 2 in a row, methodically beaten by FlyQuest, but none of it fazed them. None of it stopped P1. They're able to come back even stronger in game 4, and we're just scraping the surface. We're going to a game 5.
Big comeback performance there for Inori in game 4. Didn't let game 3 failures phase him at all, and was able to go for those big plays at the beginning.
Supreme confidence still, flashing for the cocoon between the minions.
There he is.
Yeah, it's kind of that thin line between being a genius and looking like you're boosted.
A thin line, just about a spider web, would you say, that he came down on this one. Inori 6-2 and 9, but it was the top and the mid, the people around him. A 3-0 and 14 Zig and a 7-0 and 9 Syndra in that mid lane. What a facilitator from the jungle, and what a game for P1 to come back after being put down twice very quickly by FlyQuest.
It looked like they were just so much more determined in this game. They had a much more clear game plan laid out, and they were able to execute step by step. And then once they got this huge lead, since FlyQuest is such an aggressive team that will, continue to push the boundaries there, all they had to do was set up vision control and wait around at the Baron for pick after pick after pick to just have the gold lead balloon.
Yeah, a lot more there in terms of engage and proactive plays, leaving the turret up bottom, going for the Ocean Drake as full team to kill it, then back and then make abuse of the summoner spells bottom. Like, we're talking about lots of Shen ultimates used onto Arrow with the Twitch submarine combo to enable them to get kills to try and snowball the game that way. It's a pretty bloody game there.
Yeah, absolutely. Things are getting crazy for a deeper dive into the game that now brings us to a game 5. Let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. And yes, game 5 is coming into this one. Phoenix1 with a crushing game 4 victory, honestly. So much went well.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they just completely erased the last 2 games. Not only was, I think, their comp very well-rounded, very strong, they executed incredibly well. Inori had a massive standout game. Everything was coming up well for them.
Yeah, the surprising thing there was the completely different player we saw in Inori. He looked tilted. It looked like the series was over. And then he pulled out a champion who he had no success with during the regular season and pulled off a bunch of really huge ganks in the early game that I really...
Cocoon barely tags in time. No chance to flash for high. That's number 1.
Yeah, in the regular season, you can check out these stats for Inori, but he had some awful games on Elise. He brings it out full confidence, at match point for his team, and he played so well and was pivotal in getting Syndra ahead for the first time this series.
Yeah, and then you could see just the confidence he had as well. The second flash cocoon we have on the reel here, starting a fight. Looked like it was going to get a little hairy, but they had the advantage right here, and specifically just the patience and confidence here towards the turret. As he's got the volatile spiderling and an auto attack flying, he just casually cocoons Moon to pick up the triple kill. Just completely different player, it felt like, was behind the keyboard, but it was definitely the same person. Inori just turned it around in the 4th game.
It was not the pigeon, it was Inori.
Yeah, they did not sub in the pigeon.
Yeah, Midas isn't even here, right? Like, there's no chance it's a different jungler. It clearly was Inori. We can all see him. It's the glory of playing here in person. But yeah, suddenly you've got bigger smiles in the team. Shady's kind of still all business. He's kind of, all right, yeah, talking about what game 5 is going to be. More karma? Okay, sure. But like Inori's like actually like animated and ready to go. And I always like when the players are happy and ready to go and are excited. And I'm excited there's a game 5. Like I love getting to see more matches. And I'm glad that now both my analysts are wrong, that I was right that it was a closer match than everyone else. So King of the Desk gave it pretty clearly. Yeah, you want to ask me some questions and I'll tell you what's going on?
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. You're much better at this than I am.
I'm excited that we are getting a game 5 because all the cards are on the table right now. We've seen FlyQuest do the first pick jungle strategy over and over again and mostly play through the mid lane and the jungle to much success. Yeah. And we finally saw Phoenix1 find an answer to that after games 2 and 3 went heavily in FlyQuest's favor. So now it's kind of FlyQuest's chance to respond once again because they've done the same thing 3 times in a row.
Yeah, and I think that both teams are also really seeing the power of these hyper carry AD carries. Twitch and Kog'Maw have both been very effective throughout the series. I don't think we're going to see P1 go back to a utility
Jhin
carry
Ziggs.
like Jhin or yeah, I mean Ziggs isn't really full utility, but it's a tower pusher. It's a different style. I think that people will stick to the tried and true, and I think it's just going to come down to who can execute better, especially in the jungle, because that has been the story of the series.
Yeah, and I do definitely agree. I think auto-attacking bot laners are the best ones right now in League of Legends. This one, it's easy to sing Arrow's praises, though they were winning a lot of other places already. Inori was getting all the lanes ahead, and there was a lot going well. You can see a 16,000 Shen game is pretty solid. Zig. was doing very well for himself also, but still, a team-wide win for Phoenix1. They continue the train of 2 jungle bans the one side, jungle ban the other, and they just find something that actually works this time around.
Yeah, I feel like the jungle has been such a big focus, and I was still surprised that even though Phoenix1 did seem to find an answer because Inori had a big Elise game, I'm surprised that that was the answer that they found, right? Letting the Shen through, I think, was the bigger thing with the Malzahar ban as well, so they could get a strong tank pick for Zig up in the top lane because they've been really lacking in team fight presence.
Plus, I mean, you may not have the Ivern, but Shen enables your AD carry in a similar way. You can play more aggressively, obviously not at the same level, but still, you know, Twitch can actually be diving in with this submarine Shen, and we saw that utilized to get picks multiple times. So it's all sort of the same game plan.
So let's talk about Game 5 here. There's one final champ select. I'm just going to assume P1 picks red. We don't know yet, but I think it's a safe bet. You know, kind of each team, what happens to win Game 5? What do they do?
I think in a Game 5 in any series like this, you see teams generally go to comfort. I think that teams will try to be playing champions that are the tried and true. I would not be surprised to see FlyQuest playing something like the Orianna if they can get it, playing their standard compositions and just kind of having faith in their own skills.
Yeah, I would think that FlyQuest is going to try and get similar things to what they got in Games 2 and 3, so they're probably trying to first pick a power pick jungle, assuming bans stay mostly the same, so that's probably Kha'Zix, but then more of the Orianna Nautilus. Just team fighting, generally strong laning things, because even though there's been all this hype around FlyQuest doing the Mordekaiser bot lane and this other stuff, later in the season, their successes come when they've been on pretty standard team compositions, so I feel like they'd just try and go towards that.
So, Spanner in the works. Blue side chosen by Phoenix1.
Wow.
What year is this?
See, now this is pretty interesting. This is a pick ban adaptation for sure. I definitely think that they are going to try to pinch the pool and get something like the Ivern or the Lulu first pick to really kind of force FlyQuest's hand.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to first pick the Lulu because that's lost a bit of priority in this series, but I think the jungle landscape completely changes because the bans are now swapped. If you're worried about Inori now getting the Rengar or the Ivern in the first pick, FlyQuest has to make the choice of whether they're banning those champions or whether they get to keep their LeBlanc, Kennen, and Graves bans.
Right.
Because those are champions that aren't necessarily shared, especially the Kennen between the two pools. So that would be a good time to switch up your side selection.
Plus, I mean, the whole way through, all playoffs, FlyQuest has been choosing blue side every single time. That is their comfort. That is what they are used to. And this could be something, if you have a draft planned as Fly for P1, you could throw a wrench in the gears of FlyQuest.
You have that one blue side after you've prepared and said, okay, it's time for it now. It's interesting because most teams seem to think red side is the stronger one, and someone's got to be correct at some point.
Yeah, we see it picked by a lot of teams. I mean, the Korean final that happened, SKT picked red side both of their games, but KT picked blue. So we've seen these guys go back and forth. In this series, I think if we're trying to put ourselves in Phoenix1's head for the side selection, it's about the jungle pool. Because even though Inori had a good game on Elise, we saw his season numbers for Elise. I don't necessarily want to rely on him having 2 performances like that in a row. So I think first pick jungle is highly likely since they switched to blue side.
Yeah, and you can think about what's going to come in there. You probably, do you trade Rengar for Graves and play the 2 sort of S-tier junglers? And there's all the things that now, with 4 minutes of notice, FlyQuest wants to plan the new pick ban for and see what they can get themselves to do.
I mean, if Inori could get on Rengar, that is the champion he originally made a name for himself on. He took down TSM last year on it, spoiling their season, and he would love to do that here in Game 5.
Here's the trickiest thing for FlyQuest. They've had LeBlanc, Kennen, Graves as their bans 3 games in a row. They have to drop some of those. I'd imagine they drop the LeBlanc if they have to do any of those things and we turn into that kind of game, but who knows?
He was quite a split pusher on it.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun one. Game 5 is coming. Stay tuned. This great crowd in the Pacific Coliseum is here to witness it as well, and you at home can do that as well. Game 5 is coming up. Stay tuned.
Lulu. Quick, no pressure, Ekko.
Hey, watch out.
Kog'Maw, I have my tree.
Kog's up to here.
My tree.
I'm gonna TP.
I'm going in at Kog'Maw. Okay, nice.
Kog'Maw is no. Shield 1.
Nice!
Okay.
We can win the game.
Let's go finish.
Win the game.